Welcome everyone back to episode 4 of the Warhammer Enjoyer podcast. I'm Jordan.
I'm AJ, and I like messing with soundboards.
That's crazy. Leo, say hi.
And I'm Leo. Hi.
We're just gonna get right into it. Space Wolves suck and Flesh Eaters are cool. Before we get going though, uh, we're gonna talk about Warhammer 40k and AOS and other stuff. So for those of you who care, we got timestamps that will be posted right here. But let's just get right into it. Leo, do you mind telling us why the Space Wolves suck?
All right.
Or your whole
This
epiphany with them?
this was a whole journey I went on with Space Wolves this week. It all started. We were at dinner, and AJ was talking about the Space Wolves. I had seen things previously, but I really never looked into them much. I looked into them, and I saw the models, and I said, "Holy shit, these are Space Vikings. That's really cool." For context, I am an AOS player, not much into 40k. Don't know what's going on in that department. But the Space Vikings piqued my interest a lot. So I started looking into the lore, and I thought it was pretty cool that they had like the missing Primarch stuff. That was interesting, and also the models just look really cool to me. And I'm definitely a rule of cool guy. I play Gloomspite Gits in AOS because I think they're funky little guys.
Yeah, you keep bringing that up, but you keep invalidating your. I'm just kidding. Keep going. Keep going.
Joke's on you. I only heard half of what you said.
That's crazy.
um, yes, I like things that tickle my brain. But then I decided to look into like actual like the what the forgetting.
Like look into the army.
Yeah, like actually look into the army, considering getting into 40k. All of this stuff is very new to me. I understand little, but I decided to look at what was it? The Gray Hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at them and I was like, my first reaction was, "Whoa, that's a lot of shooting." Um, but like I know that it's only, I understand the rules of, and that's like, anyways. Um, and then I looked at other space because if I'm honest, whenever I'm at the store and I see any type of like space marine thing, because it correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like there's space marines and there's 20 different kinds essentially.
pretty pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like the Papa Pizzeria games, but like one's Papa Pizzeria, one's Papa's ice cream shop.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've heard was that they're all kind of just I think AJ has said verbatim that like they're all kind of the same. It just depends on what flavor you want.
Yeah, that's
And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I started comparing the uh, data sheets. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
you can just call them stats. It's okay.
Like comparing the stats.
Yeah.
And so like I think I have Grey Hunters and Assault Intercess. Word.
Intercessors.
Thank you.
No
Um,
worries.
those guys, and they have like the same stuff on there. Like the Grey Hunters have a little extra, and then looking at Melee, it's like the same stuff except for one different thing, and the Space Marines one is better.
Yeah, it's really, you think the Space Marine one's better?
Just that one, like I was comparing because when if you look at the Melee, it has the chainsword and then the power
Power
fist
fist, power
and power
weapons.
weapon. And then the Grey Hunters have the close combat weapon.
Yeah.
And then the assault dudes have Thunderhammer, which
That sounds cool.
yeah, and it has three attacks, four is and then like eight strength, whereas the
What the fuck? You're telling me base Space Marines have a dev wound melee weapon built in?
Yes, we do.
What the fuck? I don't know. I feel
And
like I
then
feel like looking at the sheets, the Grey Hunters are kind of better. Their army ability is what one of the Dark Angels attachments, right?
Their army ability?
Sorry, the unit
The-
ability. Like their whole Cunning
Oh,
Hunters
yes,
thing,
yes.
isn't that an entire detachment rule for you guys?
That is an entire detachment rule for Space Marines. I will say the thing is with Space Wolves, Leo, is that yes, I still stand by what I said. Space Marine chapters and Space Marine whatever are all essentially just different flavors. The Space Wolves are just the guys who want to get into combat as soon as possible, as quickly as possible.
Just play Blood Angels then.
Blood Angels don't have that cool motif though.
Well,
That's true.
well,
Yeah,
well,
but they got
that's the
they
thing.
got
Like
the
I
vampire
was,
aesthetic though. I
I was,
thought the army rule was pretty cool.
They
The
first of all,
rights or whatever was pretty sick.
First of all, space Blood Angels do not have vampire motifs. They really do not. They have the Catholicism motifs. That's why their guys are in gold armor with supposed to be wings. GW forgot to package the wings, and it's all supposed to be Catholicism. I mean, their father died, and essentially like that. And
Whoa! Spoilers for the Horse Heresy, please, spoilers.
that's been a fact since like
Spoilers.
3rd edition.
Damn, Sanguinius got killed that quick. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
When the
he's
Horse
been
Heresy
like
books
dead
come
since
out?
Those books came out in like 2000, but that doesn't even matter.
That's
He was dead
crazy.
long before then.
But anyway, Leo, what were you saying? We're sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, sorry, we cut you off.
yeah, you cut me off so hard I forgot what I was talking about.
That's insane.
Oh, I was talking about because AJ was talking about how, like, yeah, they're kind of all just different flavors of the same thing, and that pissed me off a little for a second because I've heard of that, but like witnessing it about something that I was excited about, I was like getting really metagamer. Would that be the right term?
Yeah, a
I don't think
metagamer would be
metagaming. I
Jordan.
think you were looking at it being real. I don't know. I don't think that's metagaming. Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
what
I was just
when I hear metagaming, I think of, my. I guess metagaming. How does the podcast want to define metagaming? Not doing something because it's not the best.
yeah, I feel like metagaming is like explicitly curating your army.
So bringing 18 rattling guns to Trog's herd.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Some people, again, will tend to try to do metagaming. I will say, like, sometimes it works out both ways, where you'll like want to get a thematic army like Space Wolves, and it works out well for you for what you're building.
mm,
Like for me, right, I have Dark Angels, and my Dark Angels try to go for like Terminator style. So I built an army around Terminators and around like kind of the thematics of that. So I got like a lot of plasma weapons because they are known to have like a lot of plasma stuff, and I think I do okay. Some people
Yeah, I
would
think
disagree.
I think 40K is an internal struggle of rule of cool versus what's actually good to play on the tabletop. And I think there's just so many Space Marine chapters on the tabletop. Well, it's just there's so many factions of the game.
There's a lot
Mainly
of factions
Space
that-
Marines, so like balancing everything and having it all be thematic and fun is like really hard to do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
quite hard because Space Marines have the Black Templars, the Blood Angels,
You
the
don't gotta
Dark
list them all.
Angels. What? Don't list them all off.
You said you don't gotta list them all up.
Okay, fine.
We're
All
gonna
I
be
was
here
gonna
for
add
hours,
was-
bro. Bro's gonna do the fucking successor chapters and
Oh, I wasn't gonna do all the successor chapters. I was only gonna do the Codex chat. Like,
what is it? Isn't there
chapter.
9 like main chapters and like 80 trillion successor chapters?
Well, in the lore, but there's no Codex like for
Oh yeah, I
the
forgot. Yeah.
salamanders.
What?
Yeah, there's no
The
Codex. for salamanders.
the Sons of Vulcan don't have a codex?
the
No, they're just
sound-
in the standard Codex. Space
Wow,
Marine.
that's horrible. What the fuck? That's
That's
insane.
so. I don't know.
The-
But
the-
what I was getting at is I was getting very like game focused.
Yeah.
and getting frustrated and
That's
having
fair.
and
I will say to you is that like maybe you don't have to worry about it too much because their codex is coming out. Their new codex is coming out relatively
yeah,
soon.
yes, that's what sparked my interest in the Space Wolves, and the fact that they are cool space Vikings. Um, so yeah, I was really
Really, what?
I just buffered out. My bad.
Yeah, what the fuck, guys?
I was frustrated at the Space Wolves for not being funkier, and being worried that I was gonna make another army that's gonna struggle really hard to beat people.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll struggle too hard because again, with the new codex that's coming out and with Space Marines as is,
What do the Space Wolves even do in 10th, though?
I don't know. I actually haven't
I saw,
played
I
it
saw
yet.
like on their rights thing, they get like they get a once per turn 6-0 feel no pain.
Is that their rule?
No, it's like a rights thing. They get like a sub objectives, and when they're on the board, they can. It looks like ass. I feel like Leo, if you played this army in my death guard, you get shot. You would not have a fun time.
Yeah, I was down about that for a little bit.
But what was
And
your
then I
conclusion?
remembered who I am,
Yeah.
my values, and I really don't care.
That's
Rule
all
of
that
cool.
matters.
Face is shit. No, what you need to do
I
is take
wanna
these guys
play-
and paint them all pink.
I want to play cool-looking space Vikings with wolves who can't read and have a
Listen,
grand old
they can't.
time.
They bully nerds. Canonically, they bully the nerds.
So why don't you like Space Wolves? But you like Space Wolves, but why don't you like Goblins on Wolves?
Oh, because that's stupid.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Because that's stupid. It just doesn't fit. Like, you think about the other themes with the Gits. It's like mushroom, trolls, and
Well,
dark caves, and
yeah.
all
Yeah,
that
you want
jazz. And I just
yeah, you want like
that's
squigs
the
pulling the sleigh and everything like that.
yeah, like that's the Gloomspike Gits I fell in love with. To all of a sudden be like, there's these guys who run around the surface on wolves. It just doesn't fit thematically.
They're not cave dwellers. Stinky
They're not
cave dwellers.
quite quaved. Like I would have accepted it if they were on bears.
I just
Those living caves.
that's beautiful. You know what else lives in caves?
What else lives in caves?
Me. And I'm a stinky guy. And you know what's stinky? Death Guard. Boom! What a segue. Death Guard updates this week. Codex is live. We talked about this in the Death Guard Codex leak. It has been confirmed Mythic Blight Haulers are going to be 105 points. Thank fuck. That would have been so dumb. I'm still disappointed that you can only bring 2 of them to a game. I still think Strength 9 into... Well, AJ, you said Dreadnoughts are what? 8 Strength? 9?
10 strength.
Oh, these things are still hitting on 4.
Or 10 toughness. Sorry,
10,
toughness
10
10.
toughness? Why'd they
Oh,
nerf the
no,
fucking
you have
Pred
to-
then? Shut up!
Jesus Christ.
Okay, no, that was perfect time by the way.
No, I
you
want
can
my
tou-
fucking... I want my toughness... I want my strength 12 shooting. I want to hit T12 units on fucking... On 3s, dude. Fucking
You realize
GW.
that's. I want to make this clear. You do realize that's just for the auto cannon, right?
It's for the Karak and the Melta. Oh, no. I'm still talking about the Mythic Blight Haulers.
Oh, the Mythic Blight Hauler. I thought we were
No,
talking about.
we're still talking about the Pathetic Blight Hauler. I think they're still I still think they suck. I think it should be what are the knots? 10?
Yes,
It
there's
should be T10. Pathetic Blight Haulers should but Blight Haulers are like what? Isn't like a Pred destroyer or a Pred destructor like what? 130, 150, 175? Bump them up to tier 10, have them be like, if they were like tier 10, tier 11, or sorry, what the fuck am I saying? Strength 10, strength 11, fine, 100, 105, 110 points. But like, make them so I could take them. Even with the +1 to wound with against vehicles and monsters, you're still hitting on you have 3 attacks, the melt and the crack, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s. Like the math on that is like 1 attack and then D6 damage. I mean, yeah, you got lethals on the Melta now, but like, what does that even matter? Let's be honest here. Flyborn Host Attachment, Poxwalkers do not benefit from the 5-inch Scout and Stealth abilities. I think that's fair and balanced. Having 20 Poxwalkers infiltrate 9 inches away, then take the Scout move, because I think they're allowed to do that, is kind of disgusting. Also, -1 stealth to Poxwalkers doesn't like really matter, because more Typhus will be attached with them. Yeah, I don't understand the change for the Chaos Predator Destructor. I guess I don't watch enough comp stuff, but I don't get this change. It's weird. Is it because people were bringing 3 of these and you have 12 strength 10 shots with 3 damage? Wait, okay, that's kind of nasty.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, it's got yeah, I guess it's got lethals and rapid fire. Okay, so this is 8 attacks, turning into 12, hitting on 3, wounding on 3s against, wounding on 4s against dreads, -1 AP, 3 damage. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see this is kind of nasty and oppressive. So this, I don't know. I don't use them. I was going to buy some, and me being a soft metagamer, I would no longer be making the purchase.
Soft metagamer.
Soft.
Yeah, leave me alone. Alright, that's pretty much for Death Guard. Come on. There we go. Another thing this week, the Knight Defender, the Cooler Knight. AJ, you want to take the reins on this one?
Yes, the Knight Defender, or the Cooler Knight, has the Plasma Executor, the Beam Obliterator, and is supposed to have a Void Shield on top of him that is supposed to spread out to all of the.
Is that the little weird nubby thing on top?
That is the weird little nubby thing on top. And I love this concept. I find it's like fun and kind of like a little goofy to have something like, this big be like something that's like, hey, guess
it's
what?
Like a support unit almost.
It's sort of a support unit, but it's still, a knight. It has essentially a plasma cannon on it, and as you know, Jordan, like with my, Redemptor Dreadnought, that thing still like does a shit ton of damage.
Yeah.
So to have that for a knight is really appreciated.
How far How far out does because it's a shield, right? So I'm assuming that's like.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. It literally got leaked last week, right? Or like talked about. They posted the article this week, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say it got fully revealed this week. So we haven't gotten stats yet for it, but I am curious because it does say in the article that it does spread out for its allies to get shield. So knights typically have a info save, which is for Leo like a ward.
Okay.
No, wards would be more like feel no pains.
Fair enough, but like
it's just a save that you can have in case your save becomes like a 6-up. It's another form of protection. And most knights against range attacks have 5-ups. I have a 5-up involve save. That's what they're called in 40k. That's because aren't knights normal saves like 3, and like anything at a knight has like AP -4. So if it connects, it's gonna like auto wound essentially.
Yeah, you'll have to get with that invul save, and that invul save is already a 5, so it's going to be a tough like save.
I'm really hoping that this knight is the trend of big knights making a comeback, and when knights get their codex, they can stop running War Dog spam. And I think they probably will. I do still believe what I said in the Death Guard podcast episode, that War Dog Brigands are going up in price. I think I don't have the data for it, but I feel like it's a very used unit in competitive play, and I hope Big Knights come back, and I think Big Knights are going to come back because War Dogs and not just Brigands, but I think War Dogs, like War Dog spam, will probably go away because they're going to raise prices. I just hope Big Knights are good enough to survive that.
I hope so too. And again, I really like this model. I like the helmet that's on there because that looks like a new helmet. I like, again, the overall how this model looks, and I want bigger knights because I find like running them is really fun. Again, I have like a big chaos knight, and I have a lot of fun running that big chaos knight. So I find it like it's a good thing to have big knights
Yeah, they just gotta
and
make them
having
better
small
and more worth it than to run than the brigands or the tiny dogs.
Yes.
All right. That's pretty
And now
much
we
all the 40k stuff. On to the AOS stuff for the AOS enjoyers. We got the Dex General Handbook for 2025 and 2026 coming out. And then we're getting some new War Scrolls for the Scourge of Garen. So, what are these new War Scrolls exactly? Essentially, they're like alternative War Scrolls for units in your army. You can run as many instances of that unit, but you can't like have one unit be on 2 War Scrolls. Um, Armies are also getting new faction rules and uh, general like items that they can take. There's just new. It's just new stuff. This is like kind of like the detachment Grotmus stuff, but for AOS for kind of units. And the first one we're gonna talk about is my Skaven. I love my Skaven. Skaven, I love him. I don't know, Leo. Any thoughts? I actually haven't read any of this stuff, so I actually kind of feel bad.
I was reading
think
some of it. It's pretty interesting.
I think the Will of the Horn Rat's gonna be fun for people who want to do Vermin Lord stuff. Because this basically, you put 20 Plague Monks around a Vermin Lord, and the Vermin Lord has a 4-up save. Any damage gets taken to other Skavens. The backstabbing allies one is really kind of fucking nutty.
That was really interesting.
Yeah.
So do you have to pick 2 friendly Skaven units within 13 inches, and then redeploy them? But then after you redeploy them, you can redeploy them again. Is that
Yeah, that's pretty much.
okay?
That's pretty fucking nasty.
That's funky because those rats really just like pop up everywhere.
Yeah. That's gonna be yeah, it's only once per turn, but you get to pick 2 units and basically just yeet them across the board, which should be really fun. I don't know what the Skaven Nahul stuff is, but I wonder if you can redeploy those to heal units, because I know the Nahul brings stuff back.
Mm-hmm. I haven't looked at the other half of the screen, but
Looks like there's a hero one. While the target has not been slain. What the fuck? Sly in the extreme, this ratman has mastered the art of binding his time, content to wait until his superior's demise before. Pick a friendly Skaven on the battlefield with the health characteristic that equals or exceeds this unit's health characteristic to be the target, while the target has not been. Oh! Ooh. So basically, you run 2 heroes, pick one. As long as that one's alive and wholly within, all Skaven infantries have a 6-up. That's kind of nuts.
That's kind of fun.
Is very fun. You can do a lot with that.
Oh, dude, that's disgusting. I can It's interesting though because it says with a health characteristic that equals or exceeds this unit's health characteristic. So I can't like have the Plague Furnace pick the Grey Seer. Because if I could give this to a Grey Seer, I could give a whole bunch of Skaven my Plague Monks a 6-up ward. I wonder.
That was my thought. You could just give this to a Grey Seer and just let him like kind of like sit there for a bit.
Or Warlock Engineer. This is kind of interesting because now it's like I probably wouldn't run a Plague Furnace, but I think there is an argument to be made. I wonder if a Plague Furnace could give this to a Vermin Lord. I don't know. That seems like it just seems like more 6-up ward save, and that is always fun for the rat hordes.
For the rat hordes.
Yeah, the Flesh Melder one for Clan Molder is kind of interesting. We'll talk a little bit more about Clan Molder in a little bit, but it's kind of interesting. Just +1 rend, not as impactful as Devious Underling, but probably has new scenarios. And then the Scryer rerolling for random movement is kind of nice. it basically allows you to have more control over your doom wheels and stuff like that. So kind of getting some of that randomness out. I feel like the devious underling is probably going to be the most used out of these, unless you're running like a molder list, then you're going to run the molder one, or you're going to run a scryer list, you're going to run the scryer one. So yeah, that's pretty much just Skaven. And then in the new Skaven scrolls, this is the new Grace here on a Screaming Bell on the left, the old one's on the right. The little 5-up ward save has always been there, but they're putting that up there now because people have been complaining and we're getting what we want. There's new abilities. The bell tolls. It casts on a 2d6. If the current battle round number is odd, add 2 to the move characteristics of friendly Skaven units while they're wholly within 13 inches of this unit. If the current battle round number is even, subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy units that target a friendly Skaven unit that is wholly within 13 inches of the unit. Very fun. I think that's cool. Compared to the other one, a Gnaw Hole Through Reality, the Gracier focus, it's just... so with the Gnaw Hole, this one's pretty cool. So the Gnaw Hole for the Skaven, you can bring it back, but your general, or the Gracier Screaming Bill counts as a portable, like, Gnaw Hole for that turn, which is pretty sick. And then healing D3 targets, bring back your Rat Ogres, Vermin Lords. Seems pretty sick. I don't know, what do you think, Leo?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely think this sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
I think so. The Gnaw Hole thing is interesting. Once again,
Yeah, I
just
mean, I don't play
letting them
Skaven, so I mean,
run around everywhere. It's the thing. I really like how the abilities of these armies are very, like, they make sense for what the army is.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense that you can just, like, pick up rats and put them everywhere, because you think of Skaven and you think of, like, thousands of rats swarming you, and it's like, what's the Echoes of Vermindom? Once per turn, heal D3 runes to each friendly Skaven unit wholly within 13. That's nice that they have some healing, because I feel like they never really had that before.
That's a mass heal. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, because I know that the Help Hit heals at the end of every turn.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I can't think of anything else.
That's pretty much it.
Skaven. What?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Compared to, like,
Trugstrogger,
where you can't kill those guys because they're just healing every 5 seconds because they're big, rumbly troll dudes.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good call. I think it's a good change. Brute Terror gets a little changes. So Brute Terror's the -1 once per turn. The -1 to hit rolls is replaced with Lend a Claw. Pick other 4 friendly non-scryer models. Scryer, what the fuck? So you can't pick Clan Scryer and you can't click Pan Molder units. Subtract 1 from the attack characteristics of this unit's loosely attacked bladed limbs for the rest of the phase for each target picked. Add 1 to the hit rolls for target attacks for the rest of the phase. So, you're basically making Clan Rats hit on 3. I don't know. That's
what
kinda,
is that replacing?
That's kind of ass. It's Sorry, I take that back. It's replacing a once per turn. Roll a dice on a 2-up for the rest of the turn. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy units while they're within 6 inches of this unit.
And it's being replaced with, how close do the rats need to be?
They have to be wholly within 12.
That's so instead of your enemy being less likely.
Yeah, you're just hitting better. But you can't give it to Scryer, and you can't give it to other Molder units. So
that's stupid.
It's probably too... It's definitely not anti-Scryer, so, like, Giselles aren't hitting on 1s, so that Rattling Guns aren't hitting on 2s. It's definitely for that. And I think it's non-molder, so you just can't. There's probably something that I don't know about molder, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's called
Yeah, I
Lending
don't think it's
Claw, though.
maybe right. Like I don't think it's like the worst, but I think it's like definitely something that like if somebody really wanted to put an effort, they could make it like a very fun and kind of silly
Yeah.
like version of it.
Hmm.
The ranged weapon on that's kind of nutty though. Anti-infantry crit, 2d6, 4 up, 1 rend, d3 damage. That's pretty nasty.
Ooh,
How many
that's pretty
points?
nasty.
260 points though. That's
For a brood terror.
yeah, that's pretty sick. The brute tier does get a 5 up ward though, with the new ward scroll, which is kind of
Oh.
big because this is just like the hell pit where it's a 5 up save, 12 health. This is cheaper than the hell pit actually.
Well, I think the hell pit's probably
You think? I don't think it
better.
is. This might be better.
Think so.
Hell pit's got anti-infantry, 13 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s. I'm pretty sure. Wait, I got my fucking book right here. We can open it up. Get into the discussion. Get into the lore. Clan Molda. Where are you? Yeah, it's 13 attacks, anti-infantry, which is just +1 rend, 4 attacks. Sorry, 13 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s, 2 rend, 2 damage. I wonder if the because I like me some shooting, so I feel like the shooting of this would compensate for that. I just don't see shooting.
So?
I don't see shooting combat with the Forward Flame Scourger. But
Yeah, that's. Yeah, so you'd want to keep this out of melee. It would be a shooting.
I don't.
Whereas...
I think this is like a you shoot into a unit, charge, kill it, shoot into a unit, charge, kill.
Maybe.
Or this is like don't charge it in turn 1, go take it, charge it in turn 2. But that's pretty much it. I'm fucking with this. I'm excited to try some of these. Stormcast Turtles get some new stuff. Leo, were you looking at any of this, or were you just looking at the scan and stuff?
Oh, I don't care about the Stormcast Turtles.
Stormcast Turtles. Iridan the Witness has new abilities. Just some things to note. The Axe of the Final Threshold has D3 damage. Went from D3 damage to 3D... went from D3 damage to 3 damage. And now has a 6-up ward in the new one. The Plunging Talons change crits, exploding 6s for charge bonuses. And the Prayer of Witness to the Prayer of Witness has been renamed to the Demands of Witness, guys. We're talking about big changes here. It's going to be 4 prayer points down to 3. It's going to be rerolling resistant rolls. And basically everything else is different about the tool. I think this is kind of dope-ass model. He's got the Falcon hood on the Falcon. It looks fucking sick.
It does look cool.
Leo, any comments on the Flesh Eater Courts?
I didn't really. Oh, I didn't look at these ones. I did look at the 2 units you.
Yeah, you talk about the Abhorrent Ghoul King.
Yes.
Yeah, anything? Looks like you can buff attack characteristics.
Yeah, I think that would be.
And it's got the funny. Ooh, shit. This unit would be destroyed before removing it from play. Friendly, non-unique Flesh Eater Courts units wholly within 12 inches of this unit become in range until the start of your turn. Melee weapons used by friendly and ranged units have crit auto wound, score critical hit, kill hits on a modified roll of 5 up. That's pretty nasty.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's something I would enjoy having.
Yeah.
I would say. I think that the attacks are pretty cool. Like to see that anti-hero +1 rend really do some damage with that.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the old one it had the Code of Honor, which increased the damage, but you had to hit the hero, and they removed that, but they still give it anti-hero +1 rend. A
Mhm.
keyword that we don't pay attention to until it eventually kills one of our heroes. Um, Also, the having charge, the unnatural speed, having charge this phase, it gets strike burst is pretty good. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Flesh Eater Courts to really comment on this stuff, but it looks sick. It's got a 6-up ward, 5-up save, 5. Oh, this guy kind of dying quickly. God damn.
But it's okay because he explodes and.
Yeah, he's only 120 points, so.
Loads.
Then we got the Abhorrent Gore Warden. Leo, were you looking at this one?
I was looking at this one. Let me refresh my
Yeah.
memory. What did they
130
do?
What the fuck? This is crazy.
Is this 100 and how much?
130. This is 10 points more than the other one, and it's more movement, more health, and it basically hits the same.
And it's only 10 points more?
Yeah. It looks like it buffs knights, though, so it looks like it brings different thing. What the fuck?
Oh, it gets to swoop across the board.
Bro, you just get to move your whole ass army across the board with this thing. If this unit is not in combat, you can pick 2 friendly Crypt Flayers or Knights units that are not in combat and wholly within 12 inches of this unit. Remove this unit and the targets, if any, from the battlefield. Set up this unit again on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from all enemy units, then set up each target wholly within 12 inches of this unit. And more than...
That's the old one?
Yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah, they took that away.
Yeah. No,
Now
I
it's
was just saying the old one now.
No, yeah, that's crazy.
It's giving
But-
Knight's Ward, charge stuff, and then...
I think it's probably that's kind of excessive. It kind of makes sense that they
Yeah.
took that away.
Seems like the Swooping Descent one's gonna be fun to take objectives with. Oh, this is pretty cool. I'm excited for what the rest of the Garen stuff. What's it called again? I forgot. the Scourge of Garen
Scourge
stuff
of
has to
Garen.
come out with. So I look forward to talking about that. Now it's time for the what we did this week in the hobby world. Leo, what'd you do this week?
Did.
Yeah. So I got up to some Peyton. I am very, very slowly working through my army. I'm still working on all 20 of my Stabas, but I really like the color palette now with some bases. I was having a moment where I was like, these look horrible, and then the store, the guy at the store we go to, who shall not be named, was like, just paint your bases. It'll be fine. And so I did, and then I got this really cool base going that I got really geeked about. I used, what is it called? Agra something?
Agrax's Shade.
No. That's what I used to shade it. What's the
Astro Granite.
Astro Granite? Yep. I used Astro Granite and built up little rocks, and then I made little puddles in the divots and put Agrak, add the Earth Shade on top of it, and I just thought it looked really cool. And then also, I've been reading The Grey Seer with some. That's Old World, right?
Yep.
Yeah, getting into some Old World lore, which I think is really interesting. Only read like chapter 1. Not much to note there.
Skaven.
Very-
Yes.
Okay, yes.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
I love that cover. That's like
Isn't that fucking sick, bro? Oh, that's fucking.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful. It's peak. AJ, what'd you do this week?
Well, I didn't do too much, but I managed to sneak in the model of the month, our little Emperor's Children model. I believe that's a Tormentor? I don't know, but if you can kind of get a close look, what I did was I wanted to try something different for Emperor's Children, so
Yes.
I primed him white, and then did all of his trim in that dark pink, and then did some highlights of some gold there and some of the green there, and I really wanted to like do something different for Emperor's Children, because Emperor's Children are usually depicted as either, the purple and gold or the pink and black, like I kind of showed a little bit here. So I really wanted to try something different with this, and kind of use it as like a test model for how I wanted like stuff to go in the future.
What'd you
And
prime
it's
that
not
with? Is that is that
100%.
is that Wraithbone or Xandri?
That is actually 100% White Scar.
Nice. I'm pretty sure. Ooh, rip. Yeah,
I really
AJ.
wanted that.
How do you highlight white, AJ? Do you want to tell everyone at home?
You don't do White Scar as just the base coat, which I have learned now after trying to figure out how to highlight white. But I still don't like regret it too much because I like how much that White Scar really pops.
It is really eye-catching.
Yeah, and I wanted that to be something like to have here.
It looks good. It looks good. I made rat soup this week.
Rat soup.
Rat soup. I bought 40 plague monks off of eBay like 6 months ago, and I just got around to like stripping them this weekend. And this motherfucker who fucking primed these things put actually 80 fucking coats on primer. These shits have been sitting in isopropyl alcohol for damn near 2 fucking weeks now. Since the start of May. Since the actual start of May. These things have been sitting in ice, and I keep scrubbing, and this shit will not come off. It is ridiculous, and I'm never buying models off of eBay, is what I said until I saw Ikit Claw, the old metal sculpt on eBay, and then I bought it. From the same guy who sold me the fucking rat.
No, because you were.
I was ready
going
to
to
leave this guy.
eBay.
I was gonna leave this guy a review. I was like, who the fuck primes this shit? Like, it's like I'm not even overreacting. Like, I would strip it, scrub it, and it would be purple, and then there'd be yellow, and then I put it back in the isopropyl, strip it again. There's fucking blue underneath it. Like, this guy put like 80 fucking layers of primer on this shit. It is stupid, and it's the fucking plague monk sculpts too. So they're all like hunched over. And so I've broken like 3 of these things trying to fucking get in there. It's dumb. It's stupid. But I love my plague monks. So, no actual painting. we
Not
are,
yet.
we are, it's been a year in this hobby and I've yet to finish a model. Alright, I think that's pretty much all that we had today. So, thanks for everyone coming out for the Warhammer Enjoyer podcast.
Bye.
Thanks for enjoying us, and
Yeah.
we'll see you later.
Bye!